this, folks. It is the CONCACAF Nations League final. It's USA, it's Canada. Who's the best? Who's the rest? We're going to take a little look next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. Today we're taking a look at the CONCACAF Nations League final, of course. It all boils down to this. Of course, two North American nations duke it out for the glory to see who will head into the Gold Cup on a bit of a high. Of course, we'll take a look at it, all of it in a second. Of course, people shout about VIPs. They are the patrons, of course. And if you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe button. They're all things Rovers related, CONCACAF Nations League related, world football related. We got it all here, boys. Under one Ruski, of course. We have been covering this, well, since the semi-finals. So we're going to go into a recap of the tournament itself, then a recap of my semi-final predictions, and then, of course, we're going to take a look at, of course, the grand final itself. All right, then, folks, let's do another recap, just in case you missed the first one, of how we got to this stage. And then, of course, we're going to elaborate more on, of course, the final itself. So let's get into it and, of course, recap what we're talking about. Of course, it all happened way back when with the small matter of some groups, of course, and we've seen some of these nations doing their own thing in the Gold Cup preliminaries. That's also another video on the channel. Make sure you check that out. So, of course, in the CONCACAF Nations League, we saw St. Martin top the bills. They're going to get promoted to the next tier, as will St. Kitts and St. Nevis. They top the group from Group B, yet to taste defeat. Group C saw St. Lucia also coming up top trumps, with Puerto Rico doing the biz in Group D. 100% record there. And then, of course, the next tier up, we saw the likes of Cuba doing phenomenal. They'll get promoted alongside Haiti as well, with Montserrat and Barbados going the other way. But, of course, the back end of this section here, the bit next tier, we saw Nicaragua top that group. They'll go up, as will Guatemala, with St. Vincent and Belize going down the other way. But, of course, the top tier, where the big boys play, we saw with Mexico coming out of Group A, unbeaten, of course. Panama the same, of course, in Group B. Canada losing once, but getting through comfortably, and the same with the United States also going through top bill. Seeing Grenada, Curacao, Martinique, and Suriname going down the other way. That's, of course, the early stages in the Nations League. And, of course, it all boiled down to this. That's right. The semi-final, starting with Panama up against Canada. Wow, indeed. Of course, the Canadians still under John Hurd. So it all boiled down to this, of course, Canada taking on Panama, or Panama taking on Canada, should I say. And yes, I was corrected in the comments. John Herdman, still the manager for the time being anyway, over in Canada's national team. They came out on top with a 2-0 win. That's right, Jonathan David, Alfonso Davis as well on the score sheet. 2-0 win for them. I went with a 2-1 win myself, so not too shabby. They go through. Eric Davis was also sent off for Panama, of course, as they tumble into the 3rd and 4th place match. Of course, who will they take on? Well, they'll take on the loser of this one. It was, in fact, Mexico, wasn't it? Bit of a one-sided affair. 3-0 it was for the United States. 2-1 win was my pick. I think I heard 4 red cards on this one. We saw Cesar Montes Garratega get sent off, Weston McKinney and Sergino Dest also get sent off. So chances are they may not be involved in the final up against Canada. 3-0 was Pulisic with a couple of goals, Ricardo Pepi as well, to make it a comfortable one-sided victory for the United States. That's right, goodness gracious me. So those were my picks. What about you guys? Well, I'm going to throw up on the screen here, if I can. If I can jet up there we go. The predictions for the video. Sydney went with a 3-1 win for Mexico. Hans Wurst went with a 2-1 win for Canada. He got that one pretty close to the money. And USA 3-2 win over Mexico as well. And yeah, of course, there's people slamming me for saying John Herdman has been replaced by Phil Neville. It's just bad news. Bad news. People, not bad news. It's good news for Canada. Really, it's good news. But across wires, I definitely heard that John Herdman was off to New Zealand, and I definitely heard Phil Neville was, becoming Canada coach. But it looks like they don't know what they're talking about. So they're giving me bad gen, which of course I gave you bad gen, which made me look like a fool. But of course what didn't make me look like a fool were these predictions, so not too shabby there. So let's kick on forward to the finals. Of course, but before that, we have a small matter of the 3rd, 4th playoff. And of course, mostly these kind of things don't really mean much. But we're going to take a little look at it anyway. We're going to go into this and, of course, take a little look at these two sides, of course, playing each other for the 20th time since 2005. 2 wins, just 2 wins for Panama. We've got 12 wins for Mexico, 5 draws as well. Panama, 50% form for them right now. 1-2 lost to and drawn to over the last 6. Mexico coming just on 58% form. Just 1 win over the last 5, drawing 3 of the last 6. But the biggest win, Mexico over Panama, was a 5-0 win. The biggest win the other way was a 2-1 win. Panama picking up 10 goals compared to Mexico's 29 over the course of those 19 games. Works out around 0.53 goals a game for Panama, 1.53 goals a game for Mexico. Last time around they played each other was a 1-0 win for Mexico back in February 2022. It was World Cup qualifying round. It was in Mexico, of course. Last time, or the only time, or one of the only times that I could see Panama pick up a victory, was a 2-1 win over Mexico back in 2030 in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. That's, of course, to look forward to. But, of course, heading into this one, Panama did lose to Canada. Prior to that, a big 3-2 win over Nicaragua. Mexico, of course, losing shamelessly, though, to the United States 3-0. Prior to that, 2-2 draw against Cameroon. Following on from this, no matter what goes on, of course, focus will switch to the Gold Cup, and Panama. We now know. No, we don't know. But Panama will take on Costa Rica in the opening game for them. Mexico will take on Honduras as well. So we look to be covering that here on the channel as well. What we're going to do right here, right now, is take a look at some basic odds here. I've got basic odds if I can figure it out here. So, of course, Mexico overwhelming favourites. Panama, of course, underdogs, with, of course, the draw in the middle there. But, of course, there is no draws in this. It would go to penalties and all that kind of nonsense. But for me, if I'm going to go with it, I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Mexico, despite the sendings off and the suspensions and whatnot. I still think they'll have too much in the tank to go the way, of course. But then we're set up for a nice, hopefully peaceful final. That's right, Canada taking on the United States. Well, of course, Canada, again, everyone's second team in this past year's World Cup. USA just hired Greg Berhalter, which I think will come into effect. I don't know if it comes into effect now instantly or if it comes into effect for the Gold Cup or after it. I don't know. But anyway, these two sides have played each other 12 times in 2005. 6 wins for the United States, 2 for Canada, 4 draws, of course. Canada, though, 50% form for them right now, winning 3 on the spin for them, of course. The United States unbeaten in the last 5, picking up 3 wins and a couple of draws. The biggest win for the United States over Canada was a 4-1 win. The biggest win the other way, a 2-0 win. Canada just scoring 7 goals compared to the United States 13 over the course of those 12 games. Works out around 0.58 goals a game for Canada and 1.08 goals a game for the United States. Of course, last time they played each other was a 2-0 win for Canada way back, of course, in January 2022. In fact, back-to-back games for Canada, unbeaten against the United States. In fact, the last time the United States picked up a win was also in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. It was in Group B back in July 2021. Prior to this, USA, of course, did beat Mexico 3-0. Prior to that, they also drew with Mexico. Canada picked up a 2-0 win over Panama. We talked about that already. Also, prior to that, 4-1 win over Honduras heading into this. Of course, they are looking forward to the Gold Cup, and Canada will open up their tournament against a bit of a mystery team. We don't know who it is yet. It could be anybody. Who knows? United States will check on the reggae boys in the CONCACAF Gold Cup as well. Again, we look forward to hopefully catching a bit of that on the channel. It's going to be quite tight. Going to be doing lots of stuff in and around about that time. But of course, the odds back the Americans here. They are favoured. Canada, of course, the underdogs, with the draw not too far away either. Can the United States keep on keeping on in this? Whatever it is, the Nations League? Well, I think so. I'd love to see the Canadians do it, but I just can't see past the Americans. I just think they have too much quality across the park. Of course, Canada do have 2 or 3 superstars, like we're talking global, top-notch players, but probably I think Canada has the better players individually, as in like 3 of them. They probably have the best players in this, but they only have like 3 of them. That's what I'm trying to say. Whereas the quality is spread throughout the American side. So that's where my logic lies here. But of course, my logic can either be a hit or it can be a miss. But I think I'm comfortable here. And I think I'm going to back with a 100% success rate right here, right now. But that's my take, guys. Please, of course, give me some love and smash your subscribe. Smash your thumbs up, smash the little bell. We are working behind the scenes diligently here at Blackburn Overseas for a new era. I'm going to have a new look, go down to the plastic surgeon, get a bit of a redone to my face. I'm also getting a new backdrop, probably a live studio. We're going to have a sexy looking camera, sexy microphone. It's all happening. I'm going all in. I'm going that deep. In fact, that deep this season. So come back for some more content. We're going to be looking forward to the Euros, looking forward to whatever else coming, the Copa America next year and all that kind of stuff. Right here at Blackburn Overseas. So until then, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the little bell. Non-stop shop all the way through into the future.